All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing a bit of an anthropological deep dive into a really vibrant cultural event from Northeast India. We're talking about the Lui Ngai Ni Festival, which is an absolute cornerstone of identity for the Naga tribes of Manipur.
So let's kick things off with this quote because it perfectly sets the stage. It really nails this deep connection between the people, the land they live on, and the divine. And that's a theme we're going to see running through this entire discussion.
Here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get into the core meaning of the festival. Then we'll actually break down its name, which is super interesting. After that, we'll trace its history, check out all the celebrations, and finally, we'll look at how it brings so many different people together.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section, the spirit of Lui Ngai Ni. To really get what this celebration is all about, we have to think about what's most important for survival in that region, and that's agriculture.
So at its absolute core, this is a pre-sowing festival. Think of it as a massive, collective prayer to honor the earth and ask the gods for a good harvest before anyone even puts a single seed in the ground. It's all about reaffirming that deep, symbiotic relationship with the land that feeds them.
Now, the timing here is really significant. These dates, February 14th and 15th, they're not just picked out of a hat. They perfectly line up the start of the Naga New Year with the farming cycle. So you have this beautiful parallel between sowing new life in the fields and this feeling of hope and renewal for the whole community.
Next up, let's decode the name Lui Ngai Ni. Honestly, the name itself is like a fascinating little puzzle. It's a modern creation that tells a really cool story about teamwork and forging a single, unified identity.
And you can see that right here in the name. It's literally a tapestry woven from 3 different Naga languages. You've got Lui, which comes from the Tangkhul word for a seed-sowing festival. Then there's Ngai, which is the Rongmei word for festival. And finally, Ni, which is from the Mao language, and it also means seed-sowing festival. So the most important thing to get here is that Lui Ngai Ni isn't some ancient name passed down for thousands of years. It's modern. It was a very conscious decision by Naga leaders to create a shared cultural symbol, to bring all these separate festivals together under one big umbrella. It's an act of unification, both in language and in culture.
Okay, now let's trace the journey of Lui Ngai Ni, because even though the name is new, its roots, well, they go way, way back. We're talking about a journey from ancient, unwritten traditions to a major, state-recognized event.
This timeline shows this really fascinating evolution. It started as a bunch of separate village rituals, all passed down by word of mouth, and it grew into this huge, organized celebration. And that moment in 1988, when it was declared a state holiday, that was absolutely pivotal. It cemented its importance, not just for the Naga people, but for the entire state.
All right, we've got the history down. Now for the really fun part. Let's dive into the sights, the sounds, and the rituals that really bring the spirit of Lui Ngai Ni to life.
Just try to imagine the soundscape for a second. It's not just music, it's a summons. You've got the deep boom of the drums, the rhythmic clang of gongs, and that powerful, raw sound of a buffalo horn blowing. It creates this incredible atmosphere of sacred celebration and calls everyone together.
And these rituals you see here, they're the spiritual heart of the whole thing. Lighting a new fire is all about a fresh start. Blessing the seeds is a direct request to the divine for a good harvest. These acts connect the community not just to their gods, but to generations and generations of their ancestors who did these very same things.
The dancing is a huge part of the festival, with some pretty deep historical roots. For the men, you have the Phaichak. It's this incredibly powerful athletic war dance that shows off their strength and skill. And for the women, there's the Lakananui, a really graceful dance that was traditionally performed by young unmarried women. It even used to be a kind of cultural beauty competition.
But hey, it's not all solemn ceremonies. The celebration is also packed with all sorts of indigenous games. There's wrestling, huge community-wide games of tug-of-war, and the famously difficult oiled bamboo pole climbing. It just adds this wonderful, lighthearted, and competitive vibe to the whole thing.
So now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. We're going to talk about the festival's crucial social function, because this is where Lui Ngai Ni becomes so much more than just a harvest festival.
This rotational system is actually a stroke of genius. By moving the main event between the different Naga districts each year, it guarantees a sense of shared ownership. It encourages people to travel and mix, and it really drives home the point that this festival belongs to all Nagas, not just one single village or tribe.
And just look at this list. I mean, this is just some of the tribes that come to celebrate. The sheer number of different groups coming from all over Manipur and even from neighboring states, it's just an incredible display of the festival's power to bring people together. This is one of the rare times you get this kind of diversity all in one place for one shared purpose.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. In a region with so many different dialects and local customs, Lui Ngai Ni works like a cultural glue. It's a living, breathing platform for preserving traditions, for social bonding, and for reinforcing this powerful shared sense of what it means to be Naga.
I love this quote because it really gets to the heart of it. This festival isn't some dusty relic of the past. It's dynamic, it's alive, it adapts, but it holds on tight to its ancestral core, which is just a beautiful testament to the resilience and spirit of Naga culture. And that brings us to a final question, something for you to think about. As the world gets smaller and more modern, how do festivals like this one, these deeply local celebrations, serve as these vital anchors for cultural identity and for unity? It's a big question, and it really highlights why understanding our heritage is so important, now more than ever. I'll leave you to chew on that one.